Good evening and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. We have a lovely show for you today because it's all about preparing for that big day. So if you're a bride-to-be or you aim to get married in the future, this program will help you in many different ways. My guests tonight are Michele Paradise, former catwalk model and judge of Britain's Next Top Model, and has a company called the Bridal Coach that works helping brides to prepare for that special day. We also have Ellie Sanderson, who's bridal retail expert and has been voted the UK's best bridal retailer no less than 3 times. And of course, as we do every Wednesday, we have our personal development coach, Chris Brown, who'll be sharing his words of wisdom with us later on. If you want to get in touch at any point during this show to share your views, you can tweet Chrissy B Show or Facebook The Chrissy B Show. So let's introduce our first guest for tonight, and that's Michele Paradise. Hello, Michele.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So you're a bridal coach.
I know.
Yeah. So what's that like, and how did that idea come about?
Well, when people started Googling me, I think sometimes it came up as a bus for brides,
Yeah.
the bridal coach. But anyway, that's not me. I'm not a bus for brides.
Definitely not.
But I help them in other ways, I'd like to think. I used to train models, actors, and presenters, and I used to really focus on models, having been one myself. And then I thought one day, who has a very similar experience but doesn't have any outlet to train, for somebody to advise them and help them on the outside as well as on the inside? And that's why I came up with this idea of being a bridal coach. And I thought that, you know, the aisle is like the catwalk. It's very similar, but it's the catwalk of your life, isn't it? You're going there to marry the person that you spend the rest of your life
as well,
with.
isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's you know, all the eyes are on you. It's like a big show. You have your hair and your makeup done. You have this fabulous couture dress on that you'll probably never wear again, and you wouldn't spend that much money on a dress except for that special occasion. And it's a very special day. Some people believe that it has to be stressful. I don't. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show brides that you can have the most wonderful, joyful day and not be totally stressed out.
So what kind of things do you teach brides to be? Because I see you like a, for me, if I was getting married and I had a bridal coach, I would see you as like an auntie that just knows how to do everything, and that auntie that I can trust, and she knows that she wants the best for me, and she knows exactly what to do to make my day special.
I like that picture.
Yeah.
I'm a fairy godmother for brides. That's the other one I would think of. My tagline is enabling brides to look and feel good inside and out. So what I do is I take my skills, having been a model for 20 years and knowing how to work with the camera and to walk in elegant situations. So I show them how to do all the external stuff. But the whole time I'm covertly working with them on the inside as well, because I'm also a therapist. And I like calming people down and showing them tips and techniques of how to control and manage their feelings, because we all have the ability to do that once we're shown how to do it.
Okay. Now you said you've trained actors and as well as
presenters
as well. What's the most difficult thing, do you think, to teach them or to help them with?
It's probably the most difficult thing for anyone. They're not special in that way, and that's believing in yourself, believing that you can do something. And once you believe you can do something, all of the fear falls away. And it's really making that transition, and that's what I love doing with people. I love working with them and watching them have that epiphany, that aha moment where they think, I can do this. Because see, the thing is that a lot of us forget. We see really confident people, really fantastically talented people, but none of us were born like that. We've had to learn it. And my motto is, you have a plan, you practice it, and then it all flows. And that's what people don't know. The bit they forget is having the plan. A lot of people just stumble through their lives, or stumble through weddings and think, oh, well, this is... Many brides before me have had terrible experiences, or they've been stressed out. So this is just... I ask the question when I'm on stage at the National Wedding Show. I say, who believes that a wedding has to be stressful?
And everyone does.
And 95% of people raise their hand, but it doesn't have to be.
But it's interesting what you're saying, because it is quite intimidating when you do see someone very confident and you think, but that's just them, that's not me. I can't ever be like that. But in actual fact, you can, like you're saying, you can learn.
I wasn't born wearing high heels. I promise. I wasn't born knowing how to walk in high heels. I wasn't born being able to walk up and down a catwalk in front of thousands of people and feel great. I learned it because I wanted to do it. And I modeled the experts, forgive the pun, but I did, as a model, I modeled the experts. I watched the other models do it. And I started practicing it.
Okay, so you've brought a few things along with you today,
A little
Michele,
bag of tricks I have here,
to give a
yes.
few tips to our brides to be. And even if you're not planning to get married like anytime soon, but this is good for you to watch, you know, because maybe one day you will get married, or maybe your mother, your daughter's going to get married, and you'd like to help her out as well, because I know family plays a big role as well, which we'll be talking about later as well. So what do you want to show us
Well,
first,
the big
Michele?
secret here is these are all life skills for anybody. Not men necessarily, when we're talking about the high heels, but it's something you can take through your life. So it's not just about being the bride. But I like to work from the ground up, the foundation, and I believe that it's having a great, comfortable pair of heels to wear. If you choose to wear heels.
Does that exist, comfortable pair of heels?
Yes, it does.
Right.
It does. More comfortable, let's say. I won't say totally comfortable, because a heel does something to the foot that is not natural, and it causes the foot to squeeze into a shoe. And this would be, this is a typical court shoe with a pointed toe and a high heel, and this would be the most uncomfortable shoe to wear. It's not, I'm not saying you can't wear it, because for all the bad news, I've got good news. I've got ways you can do it. But it's a very high heel. It has no platform. It has a pointed toe. Your foot has nowhere to go to breathe.
After 10 minutes, that's going to be very painful.
So this has to be a really good fit. And one of the top tips for buying any shoes for your wedding, okay, or for anyone that's wearing a special shoe, is to never buy your shoes in the morning if you sleep at night and work during the day. If you have the reverse, that's different. And the point is that your feet are at their smallest when you wake up. And they expand.
My feet change size, because sometimes I can't get into some of my shoes. I'm thinking, I wore them the other day.
Exactly. So your feet swell up because of the pressure, and especially in this weather, when it's warm, your feet swell up. Time of the month, all these things factor into it. So you want to buy your shoes at the very end of the day that is possible. So if the shop is open until 9 o'clock at night, go in there at 8:30 and buy your shoes, right?
Okay, that's a really good tip.
It is, because your feet will swell, and that's just the way it is. I'm unfortunately an 8, so I don't have very far to go. But the thing is, if you're maybe a 6 and your feet swell up, you might be a 7. And it's better to start out too big, because you can always do something about that than to start out too small. So that's my first top tip for buying shoes. A lot of people don't actually know their shoe size. And my great question to them is, when did you last have your feet measured? And they kind of look at their mother, because they're usually with their mothers, and go, when did I last have my 6? Now, your feet probably have changed since the age of 6. So shoes are like designer dresses, different fits for different designers, I could be a size 8 in one designer dress and a 12 in another one. The same with shoes. Don't think you know your shoe size. Go in and try them on. I've actually seen women try shoes on for each other. Never, ever do that. They say, they go, oh, it looks great, I'll have them. No, you must try them on yourself. My right foot is bigger than my left foot, and I'm not alone in this world. I know that a lot of people have that. So your new best friend, which isn't that new, but it's a platform, right? And this is an external platform, as you can see. Let's say this is an inch high, just for the sake of it. And let's say this heel is 4 inches high. So this, instead of feeling like a 4-inch heel, you'll still get the sexy 4-inch heel, but you're lifting up the front of your foot, so you feel like you're wearing a 3-inch heel. So I highly recommend platforms, because they really will solve a lot of problems. And this is an internal platform, which is also very acceptable. These are all wedding shoes, and they're very acceptable nowadays to have platform. So you don't actually see the platform, but it's there. So you still get that lift. Because this is what happens. The ball of our foot is called our fat pad. And as we get older, it disintegrates. And I'm not talking about old, I'm talking about in our 20s. So it starts quite early. And the higher and the more high heels you wear, and there are some famous people that come to mind, I'm sure, when you think about the high shoes they wear and the foot problems they've had, you lose the fat pad. And that's why you get that burning sensation, like your bones are grinding into the pavement. So unfortunately, some women are actually getting injections in their feet, filler injections, but it doesn't work because they move, because it doesn't integrate with the collagen. So we have these other lovely things, which are just little gel pads. They're very generic, you can get them anywhere, and you just want to pop them into your shoe. And what I would suggest is you don't start the day. I have a long one here. You see that goes the whole way. You don't want to start your day with it. You want to have it on hand, maybe in your... I have something called a bridal survival kit for shoes, so you have one of those in it, and you put that in, and it gives you that little bit of lift and that softness, and your feet feel like, This is another one that goes through the whole shoe, so you get the effect of that through the whole shoe. There's little ones that go at the back of the shoe, so that you don't get the rubbing. And the secret here is never attach them to yourself, attach them to the shoe, because we perspire and then we reject it. So you want to put it in the shoe, especially if you're not wearing tights, and that will give you a really nice, gentle, non-rubbing, non-blister feeling. And then they make little ones, like if you have little nasties on your feet, like corns or calluses, you can put them again in the shoe. And the reason I brought some peep toe shoes is because there's so many shoes out there, I can't talk about all of them, but by taking certain things away from the shoe, you give yourself more comfort because you have room for expansion.
Now, does that affect postures or the kind of shoe?
It does.
Because I know sometimes brides, even though they look really nice, but then the posture kind of ruins the whole look.
It throws you forward.
Yeah.
And you have to redirect yourself
How
back.
can you correct posture then?
Would you like me to show you?
Yes, please, because my posture's not great sometimes.
I think this is a great question, Chrissy. We'll have to stand up because if you, and Ellie's going to show later beautiful dresses, and you will see that all the focus really, a lot of the focus, especially when you're sitting at the wedding breakfast table, is this, you know, and you can ruin pictures by sort of caving over. And as a woman, if we don't stand up properly, we get that little bloopy tummy, you know what I'm talking about? And it gets bigger just by not having good posture. So if I made you this offer, would you like to look taller, thinner, and feel more confident?
Yes, please.
In less than 5 minutes?
Yes, please.
Great, I have just the thing. It's my posture one. But what I want to show you is, first of all, you have really good posture, but you can always improve it, right? So just follow me. We're going to do as if we're rowing a boat, okay? So it's your shoulders up, back, bend your elbows, it will make it a little bit easier. And you're doing 360-degree rotations like this. And can you hear the bones cracking?
Everything cracking.
I know, but it's really good. So what this is doing, this is enabling you to relax, and so we don't do any harm. Now do it one more time, up, back, and down, and then let your elbows poke back. And then this is based on a stick. It's a very simple thing. Now, what do you think I'm going to do with this?
Hopefully not hit me with it. It will not be in the
That's what I was going to do, because that makes people stand up every time. I'm just going to weave it through your shoulder, through your elbows here. There we go. Okay. Now, you can probably feel, if you had your jacket buttoned up, it would pull on your jacket. And what, I don't know if you can feel it, I hope you can, but what the viewers can see is you've actually pulled yourself back. Now, what is happening is we're meant to hold our spine up with our core muscles here. But most of us in the Western world anyway, we tend to use our lower back. And that's why we create back problems for ourselves. So this reminds us, because the thing is, I'm very tall, as you've noticed, and my mother used to say, stand up straight, but what does that mean? What does stand up? It means different things to different people. So when you're wearing a high heel, you're being thrust forward like this, and some people just pull themselves back a bit, but it's not enough. And if you would mind sitting down and just seeing how it feels when you sit down, because what it does is it really holds up your posture. Yeah. And this is the way it works.
How often would you have to use this?
I was just about to say, thank you for asking. About 15 to 30 minutes a day. If you feel any pain, stop using it. And I would always recommend you see your doctor first. But what it does is it changes the muscle memory. And muscle memory is the mind-body connection. Like learning how to ride a bike or driving a car. After a while, you don't think about it anymore. We all have a default posture that we sort of go into. When we're not thinking about it, we sit down and we slump into a chair and we the worst is being on laptops and things like that, because we're little cave people now. So this gets us, it readdresses it, and after a while, you will naturally start doing this because you've retrained your brain, which is where all this information is stored, and it connects with the body. And the reason I made it telescopic is you can sit on a plane or at a seminar, you can take it to work. I can type with it. Some people can't, but you know.
I don't know if I'll be
now,
able to.
What you do is you lean forward from your waist, and your spine is still straight. So that's how it works.
Okay, that's lovely. Well, you're going to be staying with us because we're going to go to a quick break. And after the break, you'll also be showing us how to pose for photographs.
Yes, for that money shot.
Again, we can get the posture right, we can get everything else right, look fabulous on the day, have a gorgeous wedding dress, which we're going to be seeing in just a moment.
Yes.
But if we get the poses wrong, not good.
You can look like a sack of potatoes.
Okay, so after the break, we'll also be talking to Ellie Sanderson, a 3-time voted best bridal retailer in the UK. And she's going to be also telling us about the latest fashions and everything like that. And Michele will also be teaching us some more fabulous tips for brides to be. So join us after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, where we're going to be speaking to Ellie Sanderson in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at Barbara and Joanna, who visited her Oxford boutique and tried on some gorgeous dresses. I'm so jealous I couldn't go that day, but I have to go another day just to try some dresses on, even though I'm married already. But never mind, let's take a look at this video.
here we are in Oxford outside the Ellie Sanderson Bridal Boutique. We're going to go in and have the Ellie Sanderson experience, and I'm going to pretend to be the bride for the day. And who are you going to be?
I'm going to be the bridesmaid.
So let's go in.
Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the
Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
I know you guys have come today to try on some wedding dresses and get a flavour for Ellie Sanderson experience. So I was going to look after you for a consultation and try on some dresses, but first things first, can I offer you some champagne?
Okay.
And they will say it's elementary. Try.
Hello, nice to meet you, Barbara.
Hi, nice to meet
you. And Joanna, nice to meet you. So we're going to find a try on a variety of different designs, I think, for you, because I think looking at you, you've got the figure that you could wear most things. The main thing is trying to find something that suits your personality.
Love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. Dad was told by mother, you can't have one, you can't have none.
So should we start with something like this, which is also a fish sort of fit and flare?
It's lovely and flowy.
I'm going to try you with that and see how we get on.
Yeah, let's try it.
Now let's see the first dress.
This dress is a Suzanne Neville's, does fantastic courses and structure, so if you like a bit of a squeeze, she's your designer. We'll try something a little bit fuller, maybe with a little bit of sparkle.
So let's take a look at the second dress.
With a cappuccino sash, it's quite a nice little contrast, a little bit warm. So let's try something that's slightly lower in the waist.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Let's take a look at the third dress. God, it's beautiful.
It's modern, but it has still got that classical feel. So it's, again, very dreamy, very romantic. Again, you've got that silk organza, very floaty, very romantic, fairy tale, isn't it? It's your fairy tale dress.
So let's look at the fourth dress. Let's go. Looks so glamorous.
It is as it is, and you just love it for what it is.
And tell us also about the accessory. I mean, it's beautiful.
Stunning. It was designed for the catwalk to go with this especially, and it's a lot lighter and sparklier, and it just complements this dress.
Are you ready for the final dress? Let's take a look.
It's very Audrey Hepburn, Roman holiday, 1950s. The little shorty dresses are coming back in. It is a little bit of a craze at the moment to have a little shorty dress, and I think you have to try one so that you know they've tried it.
They all have their sort of unique selling points, and you know, beautiful and different in their own way. But you know, if it was to actually go and buy a dress for the actual day, it'd probably have to be number 3.
I'm a big fan of the Two Birds bridesmaids dresses. They're the dresses that you can wear for being a bridesmaid, but you could also wear it for another occasion. Lots of brides like to do is, one, have a little sparkly belt maybe for the ceremony, and then in the evening change it so it's a colour so it complements or it goes with the bridesmaid. It's been an absolute pleasure having you both here to try a few designs, to accessorise you and do the whole look with you.
One last thing, ladies, when you finally snare your man, I hope you know where to come.
We do.
Well, Barbara's chosen her dress already anyway. So, Ellie, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. I'm delighted
lovely
to be
have
here.
you here. Now, you brought along some of your gorgeous dresses from your boutique. Now, just looking at these 3, I know I would be really confused. I wouldn't know how to choose, and especially if I went to your boutique, if I was getting married. How do brides actually choose the right dress for them?
I think the advice we always give to brides is to go out, buy lots of magazines, sit down with a bottle of wine and your best friend, and just pull out lots of pictures that you like the look of. And then you need to think about the retailer that you're going to go and choose to buy your dress with. So spend some time searching on the internet, look at the designers that you've chosen, and make sure that the retailer you then choose is a reputable retailer that supplies their designs.
Okay. Now, coming into your boutique, I know like you like to be there to help the brides-to-be and give them the whole experience. So you believe that it's, the actual choosing of the dress is something really, should be something really special as well.
Yeah, I mean, we like to spend an hour and a half consultation, probably twice with the bride before she chooses her dress. So I think it's really important, once the bride has decided which shop she's going to go to, is that they phone up and they talk to the shop about coming in and what to expect when they come into the shop. Because in a consultation, I think it's really important for us to talk to the girl about her figure. It's really important to understand the kind of wedding that this girl's probably been dreaming about since she was 3 years old. And indeed, I have girls come into my shop with very old dog-eared pictures that they won't admit to having had for about 20 years. So it's really important to come in, keep an open mind, and then we just work through the collection. We'll try on lots of different shapes and styles. And because we do this for a living, we know which dresses are going to suit your figure.
Okay, wonderful. And tell us about the latest trends and what influences what people are going for nowadays.
There's some great trends coming on and I'm quite excited about it. I think Catherine Middleton last year showed the brides of Britain how to cover up but still look demure and absolutely stunning on her wedding day. So what we're seeing coming through for this year and next year are more straps and coverage, full-length sleeves and dresses.
So a classier look.
A lot more covered. So strapless dresses are still here and will always be popular, but there are lots more coverage. I mean, this amazing dress I've got here.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, that one.
You know, you wouldn't know what I'm just about to do with this, but you know, you would look at that stunning dress, wear this for the ceremony, and then for the evening or later on in the day, just whip it off and whoop, you're into a new look. So again, a really exciting thing for brides is that they can have one dress and dress it many ways. You know, they can take the sash off and perhaps put a different coloured sash on for the evening, put more, you know, accessorise it slightly different for the evening as well. So lots more coverage. In terms of shape for the year ahead, ball gown, the dress that's next to you there, is ever popular. It's a pure silk organza by Sassy Holford, absolutely stunning dress, one of my favourites. But again, you know, fits and suits many figures. And I think that the key thing when you're choosing a wedding dress is it has to work with your figure first and foremost. A petite girl in height and, you know, stature doesn't want to come in and be put into a dress that's giant and she disappears. So I always say it's about, we should see the bride, not the dress. And the dress should not be wearing the bride. So a petite girl needs to be very careful that she doesn't end up wearing anything too enormous. So that's a fabulous shape for the season ahead. This beautiful Suzanne Neville dress here is exquisite. Beautiful shape. Although it's a fishtail, it's a high cut fishtail, so it's quite high in the way that it's cut. So it's not the mermaid shape that most girls are terrified that's going to hug the hips and show off all the bits that we don't want to show off. Very, very beautiful. And then I've got another one here. This is a Jenny Packham dress. And again, I've got to say Catherine Middleton actually has worn this dress in jade to an evening do. So she's kind of, you know, put that designer a bit more on the map, so to speak. So, and that brings us, you know, brides look to magazines for celebrity statements with weddings. You know, the Middleton wedding without doubt set some agendas, but girls will come in clutching pictures of celebrity brides that have been in magazines. So Denise Van Outen got married in a Jenny Packham. Autumn Kelly got married in a Sassy Holford dress. Gary Lineker's wife got married in a Suzanne Neville. So those without question influence what our brides are looking for.
What if a bride maybe will be getting married abroad and she wants to choose a dress over here? Is there a particular kind of style you'd say, or doesn't it matter where?
No, it does. I mean, it's so important, Chrissy, that you think about, it's got to work with your figure first, and then it's got to work with your venue second. 1 in 5 girls get married abroad nowadays. I mean, that's an amazing statistic. It's quite a big figure. So you wouldn't want to wear this dress, for example, the one next to you, on the beach in Barbados with a full traditional veil. It would just be ridiculous. But something very floaty and gentle like this one here would be absolutely perfect.
Are veils still in fashion?
Yeah, do you know, it's really funny. Veils, 60% of girls wear a veil on their wedding day. What they don't do is wear it the old-fashioned way, you know, with the blusher over, with the old tradition where Dad tried to marry off the ugliest sister first, and then it wasn't till the veil came back you actually saw the girl you were marrying. So most girls just wear a single tier veil, and it's all about how you position it on the dress. Wear it quite far back, and then it's just a whisper over your shoulder, very much like the one we've got here. So very popular. But also, if you don't fancy the traditional veil, there is the little birdcage option, which is quite funky, quite quirky, works well with little shorty dresses, and still very popular.
Okay. Now, mothers-in-law and friends, are they help or hindrance when they're coming in to help choose dresses?
Could I possibly say? I think
because
your
maybe
mother...
they have like a certain image of what they want their friend or their daughter to look like, and then...
Your mother is your biggest fan and also your biggest critic. And most girls will come wedding dress shopping with their mothers.
Because she would say the truth, she would tell the truth. When,
Absolutely. I mean, we have brides in their 40s and 50s still bring their mum wedding dress shopping with them.
Cute.
So you always... I mean, there's 3 people you need to please in the whole choosing a dress cycle. First of all, you've got to please you. You've got to know when those doors open, the groom looks at you and his jaw will hit the floor because you look the best you've ever looked in your life. So you want to please him. You've also got to please mum. You just want mum's seal of approval, whatever age you are, because you're still her little girl.
Okay. So now we've got the fabulous dress on, and obviously want to look great in the photograph. So how would we pose then once we've got one of these beauties on? Who would like to?
Well, these dresses are beautiful, but they're that color that is the most unforgiving color, white or off-white or cream, because white is an aggressive color, so it goes out. And it can create a halo effect and make you look a lot, well, not a lot, but a bit bigger than you are in the picture. So there's a way around it. And what I would suggest is what a lot of people do when a camera's pointed at them, they just sort of stand there, which I call the 2-dimensional pose. So it's up and down, side to side. Very boring, and their arms are planted against their side. Now, the beauty of these dresses is they all have shape in the waist or detail that draws the eye in. So you really want to make that a focal point if you can. So the first tip is to keep your arms away from your body at all times. And that's even when you're holding the bouquet. You don't want to hold the bouquet too low because it closes up your arms. Too high, it interferes with the beautiful detail. So you keep it at waist level. So that automatically and naturally keeps your arms open. And very quickly, instead of standing like this, up and down, side to side, you want to turn your body. And the easiest way to do that is to take your feet and you create a T with your feet. This is an old model trick, or not old models, but a vintage model trick here. And you take your right or left foot and you put it to the back, so it's the top of the T, right? You can go the other way if you wish. That's it. And then you take the other foot, and that's the stem of the T, and that fits in there. Now, that's a little bit extreme for some people, and they don't have the balance, so you can soften it up. You can open it up a little bit. But what happens is you take your body that quickly from this to this. It slims you down. When you have your arms out holding the bouquet, let us say, or in the arm of the groom, you've opened yourself up. And I believe that your viewers would agree that this looks much more interesting than this.
It does.
Okay.
Ladies, can you believe we've run out of time?
Yes.
No.
This happens all the time. Just get into it, and we've run out of time. Unfortunately, we did have a lot more to tell us, but maybe we'll have to leave it for another show in the future. Thank you so much for coming on and all your advice, and bringing these lovely dresses on, all your advice as well. And after the break, we will be speaking to Chris Brown, who will also be sharing some motivational tips with us. So maybe, this could be for the brides-to-bes, or you want to get confident for your day as well, so you can be getting some tips from him after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, and now we have Chris Brown with us, who's going to be giving us some tips about change. And hello, Chris, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. How are you doing?
You enjoying the wedding dresses and everything?
I
all the
am.
marriage
I always
tips?
come at the end of a very good section, actually. And when I saw those wedding dresses, I thought about my wife.
Yeah. How does she look on your wedding day?
Brilliant, brilliant.
Did your mouth drop open and you think, wow, look at that?
I looked round and I did the veil bit, took the veil bit, and she looked.
Oh.
Couldn't chose better.
We should have brought a picture along.
Oh no, you did that to me
No,
last time. No, but it's funny talking about it, because we're talking about marriage, and marriage is a big change. And today we're going to be talking about change, because it's a big commitment. And on the day of a wedding, not only the bride, the groom has his bit as well, where he's feeling a bit nervous as well, taking a new step into life, making commitments. These are changes. I mean, could you actually remember when, let's say, when you went to school or got into secondary or junior? Was it a big change, or was there fear in there?
I was scared actually, especially when I went from junior school to secondary school,
Right.
because everyone just seemed a lot bigger and a lot meaner.
Exactly, exactly. Because we like comfort. I mean, I myself, I can actually remember from infant school going into juniors and thinking, oh no, I didn't really want to go there. I don't want to leave all my friends and everything like that. And the change happened. But we were forced into that change. And a lot of us, we have a fear of change. We like to live in a comfort zone and say, well, this is comfort. I like this way, that way, that way. And as soon as it shifts in any kind of way, we get a bit worried and we start panicking. And it's
the fear of the unknown, right?
There you go. Took the words out of my mouth. The fear of the unknown. So you think about it as well. I mean, once upon a time, they thought the world was flat. Had to venture out, didn't fall off the edge at the end of the day, but they found out it was round and they had to venture out. So the fear of change, it's what's in the mind. It's what's in the mind that takes over, that says, no, we like it this way and that's the way it's meant to be, and we don't want it any other way, right? So we've got to break those zones. But there are many kind of changes which you're going through. I'm going through the first one, which is fear of change. Second one, we're talking about, is change positive or negative? Now, thinking about that, there are two sort of changes. There is a positive change, the one you sort of embrace and say, I like this change. We could talk about, well, getting married. We could be talking about, let's say, starting a new study all over again, beginning your life over again, promotion. These are changes that you embrace on a good, but there are also changes that we don't like to embrace as well. Changes, we could talk about the loss of a relationship, the loss of a person in our life, breakups, someone betraying you, these sort of areas. These are changes we don't like. And it's really funny mentioning that, because I was having a word with my wife about this. We were talking about changes and changes we went through as well. And while I was here, I was talking to a member of the staff as well, who was telling me about her changes where she had been promoted. And the idea of being promoted, and then all of a sudden there's the whole thing of change and how to handle it. But it's a great change, it's an embracing, but we still feel that slight fear.
It is nerve-wracking because you don't know if you're going to be successful.
Well,
You've always got that fear of, oh, what if maybe I should have stayed where I was because I was doing okay, and now I've got this new challenge, even though it's quite exciting, but then maybe the person's got that thing in the back of their mind, what if I should have stayed there because I won't make it?
Right, exactly.
But then again, if you don't try, then you're going to lose out on an opportunity.
You'll never know. Back to the syndrome. Flat, round, at the end of the day. You've just got to go for it. Thinking about actually embracing those change, when you actually stay there, think about this. You decided, I don't want to change. I'm going to sit here all the way through. I don't want to go home. I don't want to change. Something's about to happen around you. And I always remember this actually quote from Walt Emerson, where what lies behind you and what lies ahead of you is very small and minute compared to what lies within you. So it's about you, how you actually, how would we put it? How would you actually deal with that change? You know, do you see it positive or do you see negative? Do you make the best of it? And either one, whether it's a positive change, the one you embrace, or the one that you fear, you're going to have to go with it one way or another. There's forced change and embrace change.
Yeah, that's true.
Forced change. Okay, so talking about the third one, we're talking about coping with change. Now, overall, coping with change, it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody to cope with change because it's back to the whole thing of a shift at the end of the day, and we do not like that. But we have to develop mechanisms that actually help us cope with those changes. And talking about, I actually jotted a few down, and we're talking about one is actually recognizing a change is happening with you. Sometimes we're in denial about the actual change that's taking place. So we do things that we shouldn't. We step into other areas that we shouldn't at the same time as well. So we've got to be aware that there is a change. If we're talking about...
It's like getting, for example, getting married, just to
Sure.
on that. You get married and maybe the person thinks they want to do whatever they used to do as a single person. So go out, go to parties and everything. Don't say anything to your spouse. So that, obviously you can't keep doing that. Obviously you're going to still have your friends. You're still going to go out and everything like that. But you've got someone else to consider now. You can't just do what you want and not let anyone know, and because that person's going to be worried about you.
That's exactly it. And you've got to think about it. Somebody in that situation, talking about a relationship, did they actually sit down and talk about this? Did they go through it? Sometimes with a couple as well, there are changes going on with individuals. I'd say take time out, have a date night, sit down and talk about it. What sort of changes you're actually going through, because to have that support with somebody with you will actually help you get through it.
Yeah.
The whole era we just mentioned, going into a marriage and still believing that you're living that single life, it's not going to be productive towards your marriage. That's going to be a bit of a breakdown. One actually made a commitment to say, I've committed to you. One say, well, I've halfway committed to you, but I still want a bit of what I used to do before. Why did you do it in the first place? Make that commitment. Marriage is a good thing. I'm going to go with that. I condone it all the way. Marriage is a great thing, yes. Okay, so we're talking about being able to talk. As I mentioned, date night, take time out end of the month with your other half. Work out what is it you're actually going through. What is it they're going through? Share in that way. It does actually help you to cope, that coping mechanism. And realise that it isn't really that bad anyway, change. It's actually a good thing. You know, if we were to stay on one spot with everything changing around us,
if you keep resisting it, it can be a very bad thing, because the change, say if it's a forced change, it's already happened and you have to just stop complaining, right? I'm talking because I've done this, that's why I'm talking from experience. Stop complaining about everything that's different and harder or whatever, and just embrace it and get on with it and learn how to deal with the new kind of life. Because if you keep resisting it and you keep complaining and you keep going on, it just makes it worse and you get very stressed.
Very much so. And I can actually think of times where it does get like that. You think, oh, this is a bit beyond me, this is beyond me. But sometimes you don't realise your own capabilities and somebody has actually realised it and given you that position to take on board. So just go with it. Enjoy the change.
Yeah, be happy.
Yeah, enjoy it all. We got many people that I can actually think of and clients I've actually worked with where they've thought about the change they're actually going through and just need that little step to actually go through that change. You know, there's a great psychologist who does a bit on change curve, which was in the 1960s, which is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And she developed this model, which you call a change curve, which is saying what actually people go through with change, but it's based off bereavement, but it can be transferred in other areas. And one of the emotions to go through is one is shock. Then another one is denial. And if you can actually think about a time yourself where you've actually gone through a situation and you do think, yeah, shock, and then you're in denial. And the other one, which I jotted down, is you've got anger, depression. And then it comes to a bit where you start accepting and thinking, well, this is a situation, it's time to move on. And that model is very useful when coaching as well. It's great. Yeah, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Go with it.
Very good. Okay. Do you have more points for us?
That is my main point on that. And I'll say, go for it. Don't worry about change. It's all in the head. Just go for it. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
And I think, going back to what Michele was saying earlier, is like believing in yourself as well.
Very much so.
Because a lot of people don't, many people don't. When it's something completely new, a new experience, they don't think they have what it takes. But you know, as we were saying earlier, it's something that you can learn as well. You can learn certain things. You can practice at certain things. You can get good at certain things. Yes. And sometimes people do feel, when they look at other people and they look so confident and they look so together, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can never be like that. Look at her, she's so confident, she's so, how can I ever be that way? But you can, anyone can.
And it goes back to that same little self-critical voice inside of you saying you won't be able to do it when you can, which you spoke about last week. So change is something I'd say to everybody, embrace it. Go with it. You'll see how much your life will develop.
And don't worry if you mess up sometimes and you make a mistake. Everyone does, right?
Oh,
and it comes with experience. And it's something you can even have a laugh about afterwards.
You learn.
Exactly.
All you can do is learn and grow from there.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That with us.
It's been a pleasure.
And we have reached the end of our program, unfortunately, but Friday's show is all about making your house a home in every sense of the word. I hope you've enjoyed the program today. If you do want to get in touch, you can visit our website, chrissybshow.tv. And you can also email me, chris@chrissybshow.tv. We're going to leave you with our YouTube funny video of the day, and we'll see you again on Friday. Bye-bye for now.